If we can get your attention about these laws of the universe, and if we can somewhat convince you that there is a larger part of you and that there is a vibrational reality and that your life is supposed to feel good to you and that life is getting better and better and better for you, if we can convince you or even get you to want to know that some of this is as we say it is, and then if we can talk you into, just for a little while, sitting every moment for 15 or 20 minutes and actually meditating, which means you quiet your mind, which means you stop your own thoughts, which means you stop resistant thoughts, which means you allow your vibration to rise, which means you allow yourself, by your deliberate practice of meditation, to be in the receptive mode of what your inner being knows, so that you begin to receive impulses and thoughts that you know you didn't conjure with your usual conscious mind. In other words, you just get an impulse about something and you know for sure where it came from. Now, you'll be practicing this all along, but as you find it and you know it and you experience it, because words don't really teach. Words, like music, words like so many things that are pleasing to you, can help you to find resonance with the source within you. That happens to you all the time. But to consciously and actively look for that resonance so that you are deliberately more of the time in the receptive mode, so that your guidance and inspiration is known by you to be coming from there, then and only then is when you can really trust your guidance. Esther's been practicing this for a long while. She's been receiving us since 1985. And every day, or nearly so, she finds time to meditate because she can feel the difference. She always looks up for Abraham, whether she's receiving from Abraham or whether she's receiving from the spin-off of man's conscious thought. And it's a question that she asks all day, every day. As a thought comes to her, or as a thought is unfolding in her mind, she will say, what receiving mode am I in? Where's that thought coming from? Is this consensus with source, or is this consensus with worrisome, paranoid people on the planet? Where's this thought coming from? For example, on Thursday, she went to the airport in San Diego and went through the security. Because she flies so much, she gets what they call a TSA pre-check, which means she doesn't have to take her computers out and she doesn't have to take her shoes off. She likes that a lot. So she's moving along through, and she put her bags onto the conveyor belt, and she had a very strong impulse to move quickly because there were people coming from different places, and to get into that machine that will check her for metal. But she had that impulse, and then she hesitated from it. So she wasn't sure which impulse came from where. She wasn't sure if the impulse to move along quickly was from source or from somewhere else. And she didn't have time to sort it out before she really had no choice. And a man stepped in front of her and went through. And she thought to herself, that's really interesting, because she knew something was up with it. She just didn't know what it was. So she walked through and the beeper went off. Now, there was no metal on her. It was a random search of electronics. And Esther laughed as they took her 2 bags to be searched, because she had in her bag 2 computers, an iPad, 2 iPod, the recorder, this microphone. She had 5 different garage door clickers, because she's moving from one place to another. 5 sets of car keys, her own cell phone, a bag full of wires and chargers. And so she stood in front of the young woman who was about to go through her bags, and she said to her, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Because she knew there was a lot going on here. Now, Esther had plenty of time. She had an hour before she was boarding, and so she didn't really mind the process. It was a little disconcerting to see everything that matters to her strewn all over the table. And one piece at a time, the woman is wiping them all down. It took 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So Esther's standing there and sort of relaxing into it a little bit. And she is asking herself, because she's not allowed to touch anything, and so she just stood back and she's watching the process. She also had jewelry. She's watching the process and she's thinking to herself, it's attraction, it's attraction, it's attraction, it's attraction, it's attraction, it's attraction, it's attraction. Everything is attraction. And then she thought, well, nothing terrible is happening here. And then the young woman said to her, why do you have all of this? And Esther said, oh, I'm on my way. I'm going to be conducting a seminar. What about? Well, it's about law of attraction. And the woman went crazy because she knows about law of attraction. She's read these books. She was so delighted to have a really up-close experience with Esther. And then it all came to Esther. Esther said, you know, I've been standing here trying to figure out what was in my vibration that would cause me to have this delayed experience, have all of this happen, all of this which I've been considering something not wanted. So I was wondering what's going on with me that I would attract this. And then Esther smiled and said, and I'm delighted to discover that my attraction was you. My attraction was you. This lovely girl who wants to understand, who was more the attractor of Esther even than Esther was the attractor of her, although that's never an accurate statement, is it? Because whatever comes is always equally attracted. Nothing accidental ever happens. And so as then Esther is allowed to now begin to put things back together, and she said to her new friend, and by the way, I've been looking for that. There were some things in the bottom of that bag that Esther had lost track of altogether. And so what we're getting at, we think you are understanding what we're getting at, but until you allow life to unfold, don't jump to any quick conclusions about how you're doing. Just let life show you how you're doing. Let life unfold and show you how you're doing, because there are two ways always to know how you're doing. One is how you feel in the moment. And that was a little confusing to Esther because she was feeling great. She was moving along. She was feeling really good until she had that moment of hesitation. Now, if she'd jumped ahead of that man, which was a thought that she thought, this is what we really want you to hear. As she's standing at what she calls the checkpoint, which is a little negative in connotation, and she had an impulse to jump ahead of that man, and if she had, she would have sailed right through, and he would have had the encounter with the woman. So as Esther had that feeling, but then she didn't want to be rude. She didn't want to jump in front of someone. So she followed another impulse. So do you ever have those questions about what's my real guidance? Well, as it plays out, the point that we're making with you is now you know sort of kind of how it works. And now you know what positive emotion means and what negative emotion means. And then as you have the benefit of being able to witness things unfold, it gives you all of the answers that you're looking for. And it gives you even more opportunity to offer your thoughts in the direction of things that yield to you more results that you are enjoying. You see what we're getting at? It's the randomness of it that makes you feel insecure. It's the erroneous and flawed belief that there are other people out there that are after you, that have the ability to negatively impact you against your will, that has you upside down in your life experience. But when you get it, that it's attraction. It's attraction. It's only attraction. And I have control over what I'm offering vibrationally, which is the reason for everything that I attract. Then life becomes this adventure instead of a challenge. Then contrast becomes the opportunity to grow something really wonderful and more, rather than something that you're tripping over. Then every moment of every day is what you knew it would be when you decided to come into this body to begin with. It's this adventure of expansion that you are all upon. And you have such a magnificent support system and guidance system that once you consciously show yourself, and that's really the point that we're getting at. This is just words to most of you, and maybe you're feeling some resonance with some of them, maybe not. And as we relay lots of experiences that Esther is living, because we do, she gives us permission to lay her life wide open for you to examine it as you wish to do. And so as we tell you about Esther's, some might call failures or successes, it's for many of you, just a story about what somebody else is doing, about somebody else's creation. But when you take the time to acknowledge what you desire, and you take the time to deliberately quiet your mind and allow your vibration to rise, and then you receive a thought, and then you watch that thought, you witness that thought playing out. It doesn't take very much before you are a deliberate creator. And once you are a deliberate creator, you are a creator who is having satisfaction many times throughout your day.
Well, Esther's example at the airport has helped clarify some of my questions, particularly because I see from that example that the direction that sometimes I feel or hear, especially when I'm quiet, may be that I am being directed to be part of an answer to someone else.
Yes.
Of what they're trying to attract.
And since you're a teacher to the very core of your being, that's really a logical thing that you're satisfying that intention, isn't it? So are you saying that Esther's experience, that she could feel coming and didn't really know for a moment how she felt about it coming? She knew something was coming. She just didn't know what it was exactly. Are you saying that it was not only for the benefit of this woman, but it was for your benefit too?
I see that, yes.
There is no end to the way things continue to unfold. And that's that momentum. The universe is fair. Law of attraction is fair. It's not always even, but it's always fair. When you accept that things are always working out for you, and you're just looking for the evidence of how that may be so, then you automatically begin leaning toward the solution and not so much toward the problem. And when you realize that we are really all in this together, and this is the most important thing that we would like to leave this segment of the conversation most active within you. Your inner being knows you. Your inner being adores you. Your inner being appreciates you and all that you bring to the table. Your inner being knows where you stand in terms of your practiced expectation. And your inner being knows what you desire and what's in your vortex and what's ripe and ready for the plucking. And your inner being knows what resistance is on your path that you've put there and how to guide you around it. And so your inner being knows where you want to be and knows what the greatest likelihood of getting you there is. Not the quickest path, because that's not always what you're looking for, but the path of least resistance. And so if you can hear this and just relax a little bit and not be so ready to pronounce yourself inappropriate. Even Esther, with all that she's heard from us and for all that she's spoken for us, still for a moment wasn't sure if that hesitation was a good thing or a bad thing. Hesitation and then a sort of overriding of it. A hesitation, she felt like she should jump in. And then she hesitated jumping in. And then for a moment she didn't know if she should have jumped in or if it was good that she had hesitated. And it wasn't until it played out that she understood what the true guidance was. You see what we're getting at? Do you see? And it doesn't take many of those experiences before you, first of all, you say, it doesn't really matter because nothing can go very wrong anyway. And things are always working out for me. And if I don't reap the benefit of this moment in time, there'll be another one and 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 another one. So I don't have to be on cue to make sure that I make the right decision every single time. Abraham, what do you really want me to do? Tell me. Make it louder. I can't hear you. It's not like that at all. Just chill out and live life, but mostly like yourself more and expect good things and expect your inner being to guide you. And most of all, revel when something happens like this. Esther could not get the grin off her face. It was so much fun for her to have had that experience. She will remember everything about it. Everything about it. The only thing she really didn't like is the woman coughed on everything. She just coughed on everything. And Esther thought, well, it must not matter or I would not be here. It must not matter or I would not be here. This must not matter or I would not be here. Did we get there for you?
I'm saying the same thing in my head right now.